Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Balls and Bros. I'm David, this is Jacob, we're your hosts. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can probably see by the title, we're going to be talking about one team in particular. Why are they so bad? And we're talking about the Chicago Bulls today, basketball team. Everyone knows them. One of the most popular teams in basketball history, really. Today we're going to be talking about why they're so bad. Plain and simple. First thing we're going to talk about is we're going to go through some of the good things that they have going on, and it's really more than it appears to be. Obviously, Derrick Rose, he's been out multiple years. He's missed many seasons, but this year he's back and he's playing almost like a Derrick Rose. He's doing well. He's got 16 points a game and almost 5 assists a game. He's really done a great job, better than a lot of people thought, and maybe not quite as good as he used to. Another player on the team, big name now, Jimmy Butler. He's been doing a great job of really carrying the team, at least as the number one player on their team. He 21 points a game. He's shooting almost 50%. Nearly 2 steals per game, which is great. He is an offensive weapon as well as a defensive force. And as you know, and when you think about the Bulls, you think about their defense. They're really great at it. They have Pau Gasol now, 16 points a game, 11 rebounds a game. He's a great player. Everybody knows, from the Lakers, from when they were good. He really rules the paint, whichever team he goes to. Other players like Doug McDermott, obviously Taj Gibson, they are also Gibson being the starter, McDermott coming off the bench. They both do a great job of supporting those other 3 stars that they have on their team. Now, all of this, and they're not going to make the playoffs because it is a stretch for them to go. Now, this is something that we haven't seen in a while. The Bulls, when you think about them, you think about success, at least in making the playoffs for the past several years. They get in there every single year, it seems, competing because they are a scrappy team, whether or not they have Derrick Rose or all these other stars, which they haven't had in the past. They come and they compete every year. Now, this year, however, some things have changed. Obviously, they've got a new coach. They fired Tom Thibodeau for whatever reason, and they've hired this new guy, Fred Hoiberg. So there's going to be some changes within the team. There's maybe conflicts, but another change is Joakim Noah, another defensive force. While he's not always been the offensive weapon that you can always look forward to in a game, he is supposed to be this big man who can get rebounds and defend the paint. He's dropped off a little bit this year. More on that. Jacob's going to take over here. So why aren't they doing so good with all of the players that they have, with all of the great, these all-star caliber players? Why aren't they doing what the Bulls have done so consistently in the past?
Okay, so what the Bulls had in mind during free agency and during the summer is they wanted to bring in an offensive-minded coach, Fred Hoiberg, somebody who was the missing piece. They thought he would be the missing piece for the team to get to the next level, which is the championship.
Yep.
So they brought in Fred Hoiberg because at Iowa State he had one of the most prolific offenses ran in college. So he was their guy, he was their fit. But what they didn't realize was the Bulls are built on defense. All of their players, they're defensive guys first before their offensive scorers. And I guess management didn't truly realize that if you took away the heart of the team, Thibodeau, that took away the heart of the Chicago Bulls. So that's where it went wrong first. People don't really respect Hoiberg. You can see it in their play. It's like he's not really their leader. It's kind of just like he's there to take up a spot on the bench. Now, Tom Thibodeau, as you know, one of my favorite coaches.
Yes.
He was a coach since 1981. He really had experience. He is an NBA champion. He won with the Celtics. The defensive strategist, one of the best that we've had in the league. Everybody tried to model their defense after what he did, because every year since he joined the Bulls in 2010, I mean, they've been a top 5, maybe top 3 defense in the league. It was never a question. You never once could just take a day off against the Bulls because the effort was always there on defense. And now, there's no defense being played whatsoever. They're getting bullied, run over in games. They're tired. Their lack of strength throughout the team. And it's really just because Tom Thibodeau is gone.
And it really doesn't help them that the Eastern Conference, this is their year. The Western Conference has always been the one with 10 teams, 10 of their top teams being playoff contenders, always beating the East. This is the East year. They've improved so much. Many of the teams have really skyrocketed to places that some people might not have expected, and they and the Chicago Bulls are just falling behind now.
I really think that, every year they were getting better, so there was no need to fire Thibodeau, even though he was, maybe some were saying he was overworking his players, but a lot of Chicago Bull fans would rather have their team in the playoffs than not have their team in the playoffs at all.
That's right.
Another reason that they're doing so bad is Joakim Noah's drop-off. Last season, he played in 67 games, and he started 67 games. He didn't average a lot of points. He never really has. But he was always the dominant figure in the defense. He was always the key piece in the middle to anchor the defense. The defense was run around him, kind of like Tim Duncan with the Spurs. It's that piece that everyone else starts clicking once he's in the middle. And now with him on the bench, they can't really do that. That's part of the reason that their defense has evaporated. It's gone. The locker room is out of whack. It's like I touched on at the beginning. There's no voice in there. There's nobody for the players to look up to. Joakim Noah doesn't like Hoiberg. Hoiberg doesn't like Noah. That's why he's coming off the bench. Derrick Rose, no respect. Jimmy Butler, yeah, he's an MVP caliber player, great defensive player, but he's not a leader that these players look up to. So if they want to turn it around, they're going to need to find a real leader on that team. And if it's Hoiberg and he transforms himself next year to do that, then great for them. But if not, then they're just going to need to maybe bring in veteran pieces, but they're going to need to find a way to get that team to have leadership. And the last thing I would say about the Bulls is why is Jimmy Butler playing so much? He's averaging 38 minutes this season per game, which is really a massive amount of minutes per game. You don't see Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, you don't see these players that are in the MVP running playing that much minutes. And yeah, it might be because the Spurs and the Warriors are usually blowing out teams, so they don't have to play as much. But still, Chicago has that good enough team. Not at Spurs, Warriors level, but they're right there with the Cavaliers in that range. So they should have enough wins, enough blowouts to where Butler shouldn't be playing those type of minutes either way. And even if they are losing, then why are you even risking that? Just burning them out. That's the reason they got rid of Thibodeau. That was the one reason that they had against Thibodeau, and now Hoiberg's doing it. I mean, there's no need for that. If you want to come in and make a change, then rest them. I mean, yeah, you might have a losing season, but at least your players are going to be well rested and not overworked.
So overall, they should be doing much better than they are doing. They're disappointing the fans, the conference, their league. They should be in the playoffs, but because of locker room turmoil and misguided coaching practices. Perhaps, like Jacob said, they're being overworked. They're not getting along with the coach, possibly each other, and they should be doing, again, much better than they are. So that's going to do it for this episode. And that was why the Bulls are so bad. And if you have any questions about the Chicago Bulls or any other team in the NBA, or any other sports-related questions, you can leave it in the comment section below. I'm David, this is Jacob, this has been Balls and Bros. Thank you for watching.